I hammer people about intervals all the time. And here's a good story as to why. When I started working with Usher, initially it was because his voice was changing. He sort of went through puberty later, which happens a lot of times with young men, and he was already a signed artist. He was already in the middle of a tour doing My Way, came off that tour, and I really had the opportunity to work with him and strengthen his voice up and get through that crossover issue and close the gap up. And then when we were working on 8701, he really was compelled to take his voice to a whole different level. And what I heard was he was doing riffs and runs really fast, but they weren't always accurate. And Usher's really good, and he's got a great ear, but he didn't really understand theory or intervals. When we had several months in between 8701 and Confessions, I started working with him on the actual notation of intervals and major minor and half steps and whole steps. And because his ear was so good and he really began to assimilate that information with what he already knew, it was amazing how much it tightened up his game. And then we went in and cut Confessions, which is the benchmark album of his entire career, and people still recognize that as such. So when other people sat up and noticed the difference, it made me really proud just to help him with intervals.